Welcome to NocBro Nation.
Welcome back, guys. Jarrell here.
And I'm Josh. And guys, Walking Dead discussion, the new variant, is that going to change the ending, alter the ending for the Walking Dead show?
Yeah, guys. So welcome back, Josh. As I said, Josh is doing a lot better. I was giving you guys updates. He also, posted something in the community page as well, and you guys have shown him a lot of love and support. And Josh and his family are all healthy, good to go, and yeah.
First thing before we start the video is I want to thank everyone for the warm wishes and get well soon. Thank you, everyone. Honestly, we have the best community, I think.
You do, yeah.
It's great hearing from everyone. It was wonderful reading the comments while I was out. It was a long road. 2 weeks almost of COVID, and it was terrible. Absolutely terrible. Get vaccinated, people.
Luckily, with getting vaccinated and boosted, we didn't have a different story of you having to go to the hospital and things like that.
I told you this. That is the only reason why I was not in the hospital. So just to give you guys a little bit of information, like walking up a flight of stairs, I was winded. It took a lot, but again, reading the comments from you guys, it really helped. I was able to get online for an hour. For those of you that I didn't reach out to, sorry, I jumped back offline. But it was nice talking to people.
Yeah, for sure. So definitely appreciate the love and support. You guys are amazing in every which way.
And it's glad to be back talking about The Walking Dead. Just being around you, it's glad to be back, guys.
It's awesome. Yeah. So, I did a few videos on my own. I mean, you guys loved them, but of course, they always say, hope to get Josh back soon. You guys are, it's better when you both are together.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
like, it's not like a mean thing against me. It's just like, we're a team, and that's just what we do.
Exactly. That is the case. But if, God forbid, something were to happen to me, by all means, like, guys, he does most of this shit for this channel. So, he could handle it.
Yeah. We just didn't want to leave you guys without any videos and things like that. But anyway, what we're talking about is, and this we'll give a spoiler warning for right now. For anybody who hasn't read the Walking Dead comics, even though it has been over for 2 years, we still like to give a spoiler warning in case anybody wants to jump in. But what we're talking about is, with the information from World Beyond about the variant zombies over in Europe, does that really change the core ending of how the Walking Dead comics ended, and will it change it for the show? So what we're talking about here is how the comics ended was a very beautiful ending, and it was an ending.
It was a gorgeous ending.
It was a great ending. Yeah. And the biggest thing is that zombies, walkers, weren't really that big a part of the world anymore because they time skipped over 20 years.
25
It was about 25 years.
And so they weren't considered a threat anymore.
No
Matter
longer.
of fact, a lot of there is a storyline in there involving an older Herschel. Again, we did a spoiler alert. Where he gathers some and brings them into the community, which they're not really around. Like, people were shocked because they just don't see them anymore. And when he brought these in, he brought them in as part of his quote unquote circus. Like it was a play toy. Like it was an event for these people or for his viewers. So they're not a threat. They're not scared of them really anymore. And honestly, I enjoyed that part of the final issue.
I did too.
But the question remains: does the variant change that storyline, and does that mean that walkers will become still a threat, if not more of a threat?
And that's the biggest question is, as we know so far, these variants are over in France, and they've probably, the story over in Europe, which I hope AMC does a story about that. We definitely want to see it. But as we know in this Walking Dead world right now, Walking Dead in Fear, those variant zombies are not here in the United States. Now, it's been known from the post-credit scene that supposedly the zombie virus began over there. It was human beings who created this virus, and during this conference,
created the variant.
No, they
not
created
the virus.
No, it's believed that the French created the virus. They created it, they mutated it, and whatever piece there was when those doctors came to Ohio for this conference, that's when it began.
Not liking that.
Yeah, that's when it began, supposedly. So whatever those guys brought to the United States, that's what the walkers we know now.
I like the alien spore.
The alien spore, yeah.
I do like that, though.
That is cool. And then as the doctors were trying to work with Jenner and trying to, use those steroids to see if they could help fight it, it of course mutated even further and made the variants that we saw in the post-credit scene. So the variant would have to come over here somehow, and
cargo ship,
somehow. And we won't get too deep into it because we have another video talking about the true ending that they should do. But it does change it a bit, because if the show jumps, let's say, I mean, they could still do the same comic ending if they really wanted to.
I think they should.
They can.
I really think they should.
And they could leave the variant
should be a Europe thing.
A different story. Yeah.
No offense.
Yeah. I mean,
but you did create the virus.
Yeah.
So it's on you.
Right.
That's the whole thing. Is like they could look, guys. They could easily come up with a storyline that would bring the variant to the United States. Maybe a cargo ship that had left, in the middle of the apocalypse, moving people over to safer areas, and it somehow got to the United States. They could easily make that up, and we would be okay with that.
Well, I mean,
but I just don't think with a season left does it even make sense.
Yeah, because it's already been 12. It's already 12 years in.
Yeah,
and so unless there's
it would have already been there.
It would have already been here. So unless there's a cargo ship that is still on its way after 12 years, if it still has the fuel to even make it here, and it's just adrift in the ocean, and it finally arrives, that could be weird. You know what I mean? Like kind of similar to Fear the Walking Dead, of that submarine that is part of all season 6 and 7. But that submarine crashed very early, I think, in the apocalypse. So it's like, and Fear is so far behind in the timeline anyway. Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to think about it, just like, well, with how the comics ended, where walkers weren't really a threat anymore, with this variant, does it really change the core ending of it?
But
it can, but it doesn't really have to.
But do you think they would be like appealing to the group of fans that like watch the show for the walkers? You know what I mean? Like the genre type, hardcore fans. Like, this isn't a show without zombies, right?
Right.
And the good thing about that is that it's towards the end of the season, so it would be a skip, and my envision was it would be the final episode.
Right.
So really, you wouldn't see much of a world without walkers.
Yeah.
But do you think that would be the case? Like, they would only... Well, it's the end of the show, so it doesn't matter, right?
So you're saying, would fans be pissed seeing these variant walkers? I think fans...
No, would fans be pissed that there are no walkers?
That there are no walkers? I'm sure I mean, of course, because it's the end of the series, like, it's not going to matter. But
that's what I was saying. Yeah.
If they continued on with the show, let's say they continued on for another season, and they want to dwindle down the amount of walkers being in danger, I could see some fans being upset with it. I know that for a time, and I think even we felt that, and it was kind of that way in the comics too. Like, when they were hunkered down in Alexandria, we missed them being on the road.
Yeah.
We missed them being on the road and having that fear of the walkers can come from anywhere. But we loved seeing them in Alexandria, because it's like, it's quiet time. It's like, it's what they're driving towards, is to make a community for themselves to where they don't have to really deal with walkers every day.
But being on the road just isn't about the walkers, for me at least.
It's not. No,
like,
it's
to
the
me,
story.
it's like seeing the background, seeing the different points of areas that are impacted by the same apocalypse.
Yeah.
Like, what would be awesome to me is, like, and I think they did this, they went to a museum, like in Washington, D.C., I think.
Yep.
Yeah, that was awesome to see, because you get to see how Washington, D.C. handled it, or what happened to that area during the apocalypse, not just about the walkers.
That's true. Yeah, but I can see, there's a lot of fans that like, seeing them hunkered down. There's fans that love having them on the road. And it's not just for, like you said, not just because of the walkers, but that's another element of it. Element of surprise, element of they always have to be on their toes, wondering, walkers are going to come from somewhere, because you know how walkers can sneak up on you at the last second without making noise?
Ninja walkers.
Yeah, ninja walkers, yeah.
But there's also another wrinkle in this is, let's say they do go down the road of final episode, they take walkers out of the equation. They're no longer a threat. You rarely see them. Seeing them is I guess, luxury, right?
Yeah.
What happens now for the Carol and Daryl spinoff, right?
Right.
Because if there's no walkers around there, then you got to assume that they've been eradicated elsewhere, right?
Well, and
so now you're not going to have that element in that spinoff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it without knowing, and of course we will never know the true numbers of walkers in the United States. I mean, we've seen some massive hordes that they've dealt with. and they've kind of, where Alexandria and kind of Hilltop was, they kind of eradicated a lot of them in that area. But of course, I mean, with other parts of the country, there's probably still some hordes somewhere that I would think, but they're just so far away that
columns,
our groups aren't going to really be dealing with them because they're so far away. Yeah. So that could still happen with, you know, the Carol and Daryl spinoff if they go to other states, like if they are going down to New Mexico or something, they'll probably deal with them. So, yeah. But even with that spinoff, I don't see them being that huge of a threat. The Daryl Carol spinoff is really going to be about the story. But the walkers are just, and that's what's sad. The walkers are going to be kind of more of the the background, and they'll deal with them every once in a while.
But to be honest with you, guys, I mean, if you've read the source material is not about the zombies.
It's not. Nope.
It's not about. It's about how these group of people are making it through such a terrible event, and the stories that follow.
Yep.
And look, the show for the most part is the same.
Yeah, for sure.
Mixed in with obviously the threat of walkers.
We just like seeing that element of danger. That's the thing. You know, with the walkers, we like, that's part of The Walking Dead. You think it is more about the story and the characters, but we do like seeing the element of the walkers and the potential deaths that could happen at any time.
Yeah,
they could go. But yeah, I think in the end, really, the variant isn't going to change what they're going to do to the main story ending. I think they're going to stick with, you know, the information that they have from the source material. They're going to expand upon that because of, you know, the major characters that were a part of it are not there. Will they bring Rick back for that ending to make Rick's ending be solidified in the show rather than waiting 5 or 6 years to see the movies to get that ending? I don't want that.
You're doing a time skip. We've talked about this before. You're doing a time skip. You better have Rick at the end of that because you've given yourself plenty of time to get to pack in the movies within that time skip.
Exactly.
So it would be a huge disservice. I'd be so pissed off, man. You know.
Yeah, but I think they do have to do a separate kind of series or something with the variants. But I don't think they should have the variants come over to the United States and change the story. And I don't think that with as limited time that we have left of the series, I don't think they're really going to do that. They're going to stay focused on the Commonwealth, the story from the source material, leave the variant for another series that they're going to plan on doing. Yeah. And I think they should, because we've talked about, like, we want to see we want to see countries. Them do, other countries of how they've handled the virus. And I think that's a perfect time to then bring in new characters, new stories, and do another either mini series or just full on series about it.
God, it'd be awesome if they had an origin story about the virus.
That's what they
could
do.
How it went down, how they created it, and then you could do flashbacks to the conference in Ohio. That'd be amazing, dude.
Get Jenner there.
Because what we don't really understand to this day is, yes, okay, let's go upon the assumption that the French created the virus. Well, then how did it get in everyone? In everyone. Like,
right.
Before they die, how did the virus get in everyone?
And that's the question, is whatever conference that they brought them, you know, maybe they brought a sample to Ohio, or maybe,
how did that get to Los Angeles?
Maybe one of the doctors was already infected with it. Well, you got to think, people at a conference in Ohio, they're going back home and spread out in all parts of the country. Then that person, I don't know, through the air, people get sick. Airborne. It just gets in their blood. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, but we would definitely love to see the origin of that.
That'd be awesome.
See how it spreads.
Dr. Jenner's at that conference.
Exactly. Him and his wife. Exactly. Yeah. So TS19. Yeah, go Slack, guys. So let us know what you think. Do you think the variant really changes anything for the core ending, or do you think that they'll just do a different spin-off of that, and they're going to leave the ending to what they're currently writing right now? And hopefully it'll be a good ending. We have another video talking about that. So, yeah, let us know what you think. Always love to hear from you guys. Make sure if you enjoyed, smash the like button, subscribe, and stay tuned for more with us. I'm Jarrell.
I'm Josh.
We're NocBro Nation. We're out.